I almost sold out at my last market and I only have 4 more weeks until my next events, so I definitely need to market prep quite a bit. So I decided to tackle this thing in true German fashion and over-engineer the whole market prep for the next 4 weeks. So if you're also trying to level up your market prep and be more efficient at market prepping, just keep on watching. Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Veronica and I run my own small business called Looping Teddies. And today we're starting with week 1 of my 4 weeks of market prep until my next events. So we definitely have to get a lot done because this is currently my whole inventory and it's not a lot. So as I said in the intro, I decided to over-engineer my market prep for the next 4 weeks and make a very detailed plan of everything that I want to have in my inventory after those 4 weeks. So the first thing that I would actually like to do is to take inventory on everything that is in here in this box, and then I will kind of give you the plan of everything that I want to accomplish in the next 4 weeks, and we will go from there to kind of break this down into individual steps that are easy to follow, that I don't need to think about a lot. I don't have decision paralysis and I just know what to make every single day and market prep in the most efficient way possible. So let's actually get into what's in this bin, because this is everything that is left over from my last market. So in here we have 2 turtles, and I will just lay everything out on the table and take inventory that way. We have a popping flower. We have a little sheep. We have a couple of octos left. That's 9 of those. We have a singular bear left. I feel really bad for him because his 2 siblings got adopted at the last 2 markets and he's the only one that's left right now. We have a couple of cats left, so that's 5 of them. And some chicken, so that is 10 of those chickens. So I will actually write that down in my notebook to kind of keep track of the inventory at the start of this challenge, because I have also written out already the amount of items that I would like to have at the end of this challenge. So after taking inventory, we know exactly how much I need to make in the next 4 weeks, and I will actually put that into my computer back at home and kind of design a market prep planner for myself for the next few weeks. But for now, I will take inventory on what I currently have left, and then I will let you in on the total numbers that I would like to have at the end of those 4 weeks. Okay, so after taking all of the inventory I currently have left, I currently have 366 euros worth of plushies left in my inventory, and my big goal is to get at least to 3,000 after the 4 weeks of market prep. So doing some quick maths, that means if I have 28 days of market prep left, I need to make 94 euros in inventory every single day, which during the week should be very challenging, but on the weekends I can definitely prep a little bit more and go over the 94 euros. At least that's what I think will happen. And to kind of guide myself, I have written out my ideal inventory. This is more than 3,000 euros if I end up making all of this, but this is just a guideline, so I know what the ideal amount of items that I want to have is, so I end up thinking less about what to make, and I know exactly the types of items that I want to make and the ideal amount. So let me just go over that so we're all on the same page, and then I will show you what, apart from my inventory, I have already started prepping this week, because currently it's Tuesday, so we don't even have 28 days left. It's Tuesday, it's April 8th, and the whole challenge is going until May 3rd, because that is the last day before my next market. So let me go over the inventory list. So I would like to make 50 of my baby octos, which sell for 6 euros each. So that means that's 300 euros worth of inventory. I would like to make 50 of my mini chicks with hats, sell for 6 euros as well. So that's another 300 euros worth of inventory. I would like to make 50 of my baby whales, which sell for €5 each. So that's another 250 euros in inventory. I would like to make 50 of my popping mushrooms, which again sell for €6. So that's another 300 euros worth of inventory. I would like to make 30 of my mini bees, which sell for €8 each. So that's 240 euros of inventory. I would like to make 30 of my bee chains, so smaller bees on keychains, which sell for €6 each. So that's another 180 euros worth of inventory. I would like to make 10 of my bigger octos, which sell for €15 each. So that's 150 euros worth of inventory. I would like to have 20 cats. I still have some of them left. And I sell my cats for €14 each. So that's 280 euros worth of inventory. I would like to have 30 penguins, 30 mallards, and 30 chicks. So all of my stress ball birds each. So 30 each of every single type of bird, and they sell for €10 each. So having all three types of birds in the quantities that I want to have them in means another 900 euros worth of inventory. I would like to have 20 turtles, which I sell for €16 each, and that means that's another 320 euros of inventory. For chicken, I think I'm good. I wanted to have 10 chickens and I currently have 10 left. So that's 150 euros worth of inventory, and I don't need to prep any more of those. For my brontosauruses, I would like to also have 10 of them, and I sell them for 22 euros each. So that means another 220 euros worth of inventory. And then I have written down a couple more things that I would like to have. I didn't write any quantities for those because those are just bigger pieces of inventory that I would like to make or make for the first time. So I wrote down bears. So I already have one in my inventory. I think that will be the only one that will stay in my inventory. I wrote down cows, which I want to start making and bringing to my markets. I have been looking at the crochet grove pattern, and I think I will get that for this market prep challenge and start bringing cows to my markets, because I have been asked about cows quite a lot before, and I should really start making and bringing them to my market. And I also want to try out some new patterns for my market. So I also wrote down giraffes, elephants, lions, and dragons or dinos. So I will look at some patterns for those types of plushies and start making those or trying those out and seeing if I want to make them for my market prep. Not entirely sure about those, but about all of the other plushies where I also have written down amounts that I want to make, I'm very sure that I want to bring those to my markets again, because I have been bringing them for quite a long time, and these are like my tried and true market prep patterns that I always like to make for markets. So my big plan is tonight I will go home and I will actually start planning out my like market prep planner and breaking down these whole like amounts of plushies down into like individual weeks, like what I need to make in what week. So I just have a better idea of what I want to make every single week. And that is the plan for now. I actually already started market prepping some plushies. So some of them I started working on last week at my market, and some of them I have just started working on this week because it's already Tuesday afternoon. So of course I have been crocheting for a little bit this week already. So let me actually get out my bag and let's go over the finished plushies that I currently have. Okay, so I have my bag right here, and this is full of plushies and works in progress. So let me get out the finished plushies first. So I have started to work on my mini bees, and I started working on those at my last weekend's market. I made lots of the bee bodies. I have a couple of them unfinished in here. So I ended up making 11 of the bee bodies, and I have already finished up 3 of them. So 3 mini bees are ready to go into my inventory already, and the rest of them I can just easily start to finish up this week. So that is the first item. The second type of item I have already finished up. I also started working on those last weekend at my last market. So I started to work on turtle parts because that is a type of plushie that you can easily start to work on at the market. So I ended up making a ton of these little will it focus? Of these little turquoise fins. And after the market, I also made a couple of turquoise heads to go along with the fins. So I ended up making enough parts for 3 turtles. And I already finished up one of the turtles. And I think that this is my favorite turtle that I have ever made. So here it is. We have the turquoise body and we have a lilac shell, and I am just obsessed with how this one looks. I really like this color combination. I've actually never made that combination before, so I will see if and how well it does at my next market. But personally, I really like this like whole pastel thing that is going on right here. So that is the first turtle that I have finished up, and we have the parts for 2 more in here. We obviously have a lot more parts than I just showed you, but we have enough to make 2 more turtles. I just need to decide what shells I want to make for them. And then the next thing I have been working on so far this week are baby whales, and I have been working on this color, this like medium blue, which tends to do pretty well for baby whales. So I have actually started to work on quite a lot of them, and I have finished quite a lot. Let me see if I can actually hold them all. I have finished up 10 of my baby whales in this color because, as I said before, this is like my best-selling color of this type of plushie. So I wanted to make quite a lot of them. So we have 10 of those ready to go into my inventory already. Actually, I missed one. Here's one more. And then something that I'm realizing is actually not on my prep list, but I wanted to really try out is a puppy pattern. So I have been working on that one this week already as well. So we have the body and the head and one of his little ears already finished, and this is a perfect example of why I need to write myself a market prep planner, because if I don't have a planner, I start making just random stuff that is not like very market prep friendly, because this will have like 10 different pieces that you have to sew together, and that is not like super effective. It's very like healthy to do every once in a while to make just like a plushie that you just want to make. But overall, I would really like to focus on my market prep patterns in the next couple of weeks and just make some of these other types of plushies every now and then. But I think that this one will actually look super cute once it's finished. So I will actually work on that one a little more tonight and hopefully already like finish him up. So yeah, that is everything that I have been working on so far this week. I will go ahead and write out my market prep planner. I will also hopefully plan the colors that I want to make all of these plushies in, just so I have to plan as little as possible in the next couple of weeks and I can market prep as effectively as possible, because I don't need to think about any of that type of stuff in the next couple of weeks, but we will see how that goes. So I will probably see you guys tomorrow once I have written out my market prep planner and we can get started with actually working on prepping some of the items that I want to make. Okay friends, it's now Thursday and I'm back at the studio. So I didn't check in with you guys yesterday because I headed into work and then I got home kind of late, so there wasn't really any time to catch up with you guys, but I still have a lot of things to update you on. And first of all, it's now Thursday afternoon, which means I have finished my work week for this week. So we can now do basically a big market prep weekend because I don't have any markets this weekend. I don't really have any other plans for this weekend. I am busy every night, but during all of the days, I basically have time to have a whole market prep weekend this week. The weather is supposed to be really nice, so I might be doing like a little couple hours trip on one of the days, but except for that, I can just market prep quite a lot this weekend, which I definitely need to do because out of all the 4 weeks that I have for market prep, this is actually the only weekend where I don't have any plans, because next weekend is Easter, so we're visiting family, and then the weekend after that I'm actually attending a fair for my work, so I won't have the weekend off from work. if that makes sense. And then the last weekend is when I have my market on Sunday. So this is actually the only weekend where I am completely off and have lots of time to crochet. And then second thing I wanted to update you on is I actually finished my market prep planner. Let me just show that to you because I am honestly obsessed. I think this looks really good. So it's two-sided. We have 2 pages, and yeah, it's basically a huge market prep planner. So we have the types of plushies I want to make on the side here. We have the amount I want to make here, and then I'm not sure if you can tell, we also have the numbers are written in different colors, so that represents the colors that I want to make the plushies in. So I can now tell that I want to make, for example, we're starting out with 5 red baby octos, so those 5 numbers are in red, and then we go on with orange and stuff like that. So that basically makes it super simple for me to just follow and just like cross off or like color in the plushies that I have made off of this list, and it makes it super easy so that I don't have to think about the type of plushies I want to make, about the colors I want to make, because that kind of takes up a long time when you're market prepping, because personally I usually can't really decide what I want to make and then what colors would be great. So I took a bit of time on Tuesday evening to figure all that out and the amounts of plushies that I want to make in the different colors. So yeah, now I just need to follow that basically, and we should be good for market prep. I can definitely tell that I will probably not get all of this done because it is an insane amount, but nonetheless it gives me a good plan on what I want to make. And on the second page we have kind of like the bigger items that I want to make. I'm not sure if it's focusing on this. And down there I wrote down some notes because for the turtles I wanted to write down the 2 colors that I need, like for the body and for the shell, and that was kind of hard to make in this planner, so I wrote that down in the little notes section I put down there. I also wrote down additional plushies, so if I finish plushies that are not on my planner, I can just write them down there and track them that way so that I know what I actually have in my inventory. And yeah, I'm not sure if you guys would be interested in something like this. I honestly had a lot of fun designing it and put a lot of thought into this. So I might actually leave a little link down below. It's a Canva template. So if you want to use that for your market prep, you can just access the link and make your own market prep planner. So for now, I actually want to start using this market prep planner and inputting all of the plushies that I have made since I last checked in with you, or basically all of the plushies I have made so far and that are in my inventory. So let me actually show you what I finished since I last spoke to you, and then we will start actually filling this in. Okay, so here are all of the plushies I basically made since last market. I showed a couple of them to you already, but I still need to input all of them into my prep planner, so they're all still like in this big bin. But first of all, let me show you. This is like a little goofy and this will not go into my market prep planner. This is like a little popcorn bucket that I made for a friend of mine whose birthday it actually is today, and he works at a cinema, so I will give that to him with his present because I think that that is very cute, and I just freehanded this little one, and yeah, I thought this was kind of a funny gift for him as well. And then let me actually show that to you next. On Tuesday, I was still working on this little puppy and I have now finished him, and I am honestly obsessed. I think this one is like one of my favorite plushies I ever made. This is such a cute pattern, and I basically found this one like on accident because after my last market I had a custom order inquiry for a little lion, and actually I have closed down my custom orders recently because I just don't have any time to work on custom orders between like market prepping and trying out new products and all of that stuff. So I usually don't take custom orders, but I have been thinking about making a lion for my inventory as well. So I thought I could look for a little lion pattern, and I actually found one that I really liked. It's by the Nicole Chase, And she has quite a lot of free patterns on her website, and this was one of them, so this little puppy. And I thought to try that one out first to see if I would like the patterns before I start making the lion. So I made this one first, and I think he's so cute. There's actually a bigger version of this one as well. So this is the puppy version, and then she also has a dog version that is like slightly bigger. And I'm actually thinking that I might make that one to have like a little dog family at my next market, because he is just so cute. I am so obsessed with this one. And actually today I will start working on the little lion, because I sent a picture of the pattern to my customer and they were not sure if the lion was going to be big enough for them, because they wanted a kind of big lion, and I think that the lion will turn out this size, the same size as this puppy. So I will be making the lion first and then sending them a picture, like comparing it to possibly my big bear, because they saw that at the market and really liked the size. And then they can decide if they want the lion or not. I would usually not do that, but as I said before, I have been thinking about actually making a lion for my market. So if they don't want the lion, I can just add it to my market bin and have it in my inventory for the next market. But this one, it's such a cutie. I really like this one, and I think that I might actually make the bigger dog pattern as well, just because I really like this one. So that will be going into my additional plushies little notes section on my planner. And actually let me write that down so we can kind of fill the market prep planner in while we're doing this. So I just input puppy onto the prep planner. And then we have quite a lot of whales and the little turtle I showed you and the 3 bees that I finished up. But let's get into the whales and input them into my market prep planner, because I don't currently really know how many I prepped since I last spoke to you. So we will see. Okay, so I just counted them out and I have actually made 29 of the baby whales. So we're looking pretty good for that category. But overall, I think I should actually make a couple of each of the types of items that I want to make. So a couple of those, and then move on to the next category. Just so at the end of the 4 weeks, I have a couple of every single type of plushie. I think that is more realistic to accomplish. But the baby whales tend to do super well, so I might actually finish all 50 of those over the course of the weekend. But as I said before, I will now input all of my inventory that I have left over from my last market into this planner, and then I will start working on the lion plushie so I can finish that up and send a picture of that to my customer over the course of the weekend, and they can decide if they want the plushie or not. Okay friends, it's now Saturday and I'm back at the studio. I didn't check in with you guys yesterday because I ended up having quite a lot of commitments yesterday, and we were kind of cleaning up the apartment and all kinds of stuff, so I didn't find the time to walk over here and check in with you. But I did work on quite a lot of plushies yesterday as well, and I have now brought over quite a big box of things yet again to put into the studio. So first of all, we have a big bag with plushies I was working on, and then some parts for my wristlets. So I had a lot of these strings back at home, but I was missing the hardware for them for the longest time, and now they finally came in. So I have all of the strings that I had already prepared in here that I want to make up. I actually need to make up a couple more of them because a couple of my colors are really low or even out of stock. So I definitely need to make up a couple more until the next market, but they don't take a long time to make. But here is the box with all of the hardware. I ended up buying 160 of these hardware pieces. Not sure. Yeah, that's the focus that we want. So quite a lot of them because I wanted to reach free shipping. So I have quite a lot of them in stock again, but that's quite a good thing to have. So I don't run out of them anytime soon. I think they will last me throughout the year, but that's a good thing. So we have that. And the rest in here are all of the plushies I was working on yesterday. But for now, I actually wanted to show you what else I brought over to the studio today. So we have quite a lot of things for my wristlets. Let me actually move you a little closer. So I brought over mostly things for my wristlets. So we have all of the colors that I currently have in my inventory. I actually bought a new color, this one. This one is called aloe, like aloe vera. So I think that one is very pretty and like very trendy. So I can't wait to make up the first ones in this color and see how it does. We have some more of my colors here. Some of them I'm actually starting to run pretty low on. I think the one that I have used the most for my wristlets is this color. This kind of like army green. I think this one's called avocado. I'm not entirely sure, but I've had these for quite a long time and I still haven't run out of any of them. You actually get quite a lot of wristlets out of each single skein, so they're actually quite profitable for me, the wristlets in general, and people seem to really like them. I sold 5 of my wristlets at my last market, so we have now 12 colors for my wristlets. And I think that for now that is the perfect amount because my pegboard where I display the wristlets on actually has 12 pegs to display wristlets. So that is a great amount so that they can fit on there perfectly. And then we have a couple of things for candle making. So we have these little things to like pour out fragrance oil and measure it out very nicely. I bought a 100 pack of that. I'm not really sure why, but I think that you can never have enough of these. So I will sort them into the candle making part of the studio. I also have all of my little testers I made for all of my fragrances. I finally brought them over here. So we have quite a big box of those. I will also sort them into my candle making shelf. And then we finally have some things that I ordered for my studio. So let's unpack them together. So I bought some more of my little foldable crates that I already have on my shelf, like back there. So I ordered 2 more 6-packs of those so that I now have 18 of those in total because they're so handy and I have a lot of different uses for them and I never had enough of them to store all of the things I want to store in those. So I can now easily store quite a lot more items and kind of keep them organized and also like keep the storage kind of like pretty looking, like aesthetic, because that is one of the biggest like fun factors of my studio, that I get to create a space that I personally really like aesthetically. So I really like those foldable crates. I think they look really good on the shelves, so I wanted to get enough of them for like being able to store everything I have in mind for those. Okay, so that's everything I brought over to the studio, and I think I will now put all of that away and store that, and then we will get into all of the plushies I have made since I last checked in with you. Okay friends, so I have now stored away all of the things that I brought over here, and I think that the studio is definitely looking really cute now. It's definitely coming along and getting filled up, and I still really like the way it looks and the way it is organized. So I'm overall still super happy about this space. But now I wanted to get into this big bag of what I have been working on, so that we know what to put into the market prep tracker. The first thing that I was working on, I think I showed you the start of that on Thursday, was my lion, and I still haven't finished him up, so he is still in pieces, but I did make all of the pieces for him. So here is the little head, and I think he's looking really cute. So this is what he looks like. This is kind of what the plushie will look like. And I definitely want to make him up completely, like sew him together this weekend, because I want to send a picture of him to the customer that requested a custom order like that, or asked for a custom order like that, and see if they like him and want him still, or if he is for my market inventory. So we also have 2 feet, 2 arms, and I'm still missing 1 ear that should be in here somewhere. There we have the 2 ears, and I haven't made the tail for him yet because I think I will just crochet that into the body. So we have all of the pieces for him, and I definitely want to sew him up, possibly even today, but if not, on Sunday, so I can send the picture out. I also brought over, this is what I use for, like as a sewing stick to kind of stabilize the head onto the body, so that we can sew him up in a nice way, or in an easier way. And then I have made up quite a lot of my works in progresses. So I was working on these little bees that I started at my last market, and I finally made all of them up. So we now have 8 of those complete. So we have 4 and 4 more. So these are completed all the way, so we can put them into the market prep tracker. And then I have 2 more completed plushies. I had the hats for those 2 made up for a long time, but I finally finished them, so we can put 2 mini chicks with hats into my tracker. And then we have a couple more works in progresses. So I had an Etsy order for a chick that came in, I believe it was on Thursday. So I made up chick bodies, and I actually made up a couple more because I want to market prep them as well. So we have, that's 3, 4, 5, and 6, and I was actually working on a 7th, but I almost ran out of yarn, so I will have to grab another yellow skein over here because I didn't have any more at home, so we can make him up. And I actually want to finish those this weekend as well, because I want to send out my order so that they can receive the little chick before Easter, because I think that might be an Easter gift. So I want to send that out possibly on Monday if I can. And the final thing I was working on was actually a turtle shell, because I still have lots of mint turquoise turtle parts in here, and I want to make, I think, 2, 3 of this color combination. So I was working on that to get that one finished up pretty soon as well. So now, before I put all of my finished plushies into my market prep planner and keep working on the other plushies, I actually wanted to talk to you about how my launch for my No Sew Sheep pattern went. And I am so grateful for you guys. If you were one of the ones that got the pattern on release day, I actually sold 7 copies of the pattern on my release day, which was yesterday. I am so excited about this. Thank you so much to everybody who bought a copy or just commented, was excited about the pattern and stuff like that. And by now it's currently Saturday afternoon, so the pattern has been out for a little over a day, and I have sold 11 copies of it, and I'm so grateful for you guys that you are supporting my small business. And yeah, I never thought that this little like pattern release would go as well as it did, so I am super excited about that. It makes me very motivated to work on all of the other patterns that I have in my head and finally start working on them, trying them out and writing them up. So that will possibly happen after this whole market prep craziness, because currently I can't really think about designing any patterns. I don't really have the time for that. But after my like spring into summer markets are over on June 1st, that is when my last like spring market is happening. After that, I will have almost 4 months without markets to prep for the fall and winter season, because I definitely want to prep quite a lot more this year, and that is when I will take some time and write up some more patterns. I think I'm so excited about the whole pattern thing. That was insane and leaves me very positive about writing patterns. And now I will put all of the finished plushies into my market prep planner and keep working on some of the works in progress, and I will check in with you guys when something else happens. Hi friends, it's now Sunday. I'm back at the studio and I'm currently pouring some vessels for my candles in the back. So if the back looks a little chaotic, that is why. But as we have collectively decided that this is a crochet channel, I will be doing that in the back and pouring vessels once they're dry and keep doing that in the background. But what I wanted to talk to you about is the goal for today. So I actually have 3 big objectives that I want to complete today. So first of all, I want to finally finish up this little lion. So he's almost completed. He only needs a little tail. And then I will need to send a picture of him to my customer and see if they want him. I think they do, because they actually emailed me today and asked if there were any news on the lion. So I think that they will definitely take him. So we will finish him up today. Only a couple of finishing touches, as I said before, so he can find his new home next week. Second of all, I would really like to finish up all of the little chicks that I made recently. First of all, because I want to pack one of them up for my order so that I can send that out tomorrow. So that's the big goal, to finish up at least one of them. But actually I would like to finish all of them up today, because once I'm at it, it's pretty simple to finish up a lot of these birds at the same time and kind of batch make them. So that is the big goal number 2 for today. Packing the order up is kind of number 3, but that kind of belongs to the same topic of finishing up these birds. And then finally, I would really like to finish the rest of the baby whales that I am still missing. So that should be 20 baby whales that I would really like to complete today. Not sure if all of that will be in this video or if I can only finish them by tonight, and that would be too late to check in. But we will see how many we can get done over the course of today. And then finally, I wanted to show you what I have been working on. So yesterday, when we were going out of town to meet some friends for dinner, I took my yarn and I completed 2 of these bigger octos. Like, I completed the bodies in the car, and then when we got back home, I finished them by adding the little eyes and stuffing them and closing them up. So we already have 2 of them completed, and for my market prep plan, I said I wanted to have 2 in this color, so they are completed. I can put them into my prep planner and we can move on to some different colors of those probably in the next week, because as I said before, today I want to really focus on the baby whales, because I think that they will definitely find a home over the course of my next couple of markets that are coming up. And then I've actually been thinking about the whole like reality of my market prep planner. So I think that for next week, I will actually not work through one category at a time and then move on to the next one. But I think that I will try to complete at least a couple of plushies in every single category. So make a couple of mushrooms, a couple of mini chicks with hats, a couple of mallards, penguins, everything like that, and then kind of like cycle through the different categories just to make sure that I have a couple of items in every single type of plushie. But yeah, for the baby whales, I actually really want to complete them because they are super, super popular. They're my only item that is €5, so they're super popular with kids, and I definitely want to have enough of those for little kids who only have a little bit of pocket money. That is the reason why I would really like to finish up all of these whales today. But first of all, I think I will complete this one and send the pictures out to my customer so that we can definitely find a home for him today. And I will check in with you throughout the day and we will see where we will go. Okay friends, so I wanted to check in with you again. I actually just had to run home and grab a whole new box of stuffing because I actually ran out while trying to finish the little chicks. So we currently have 2 of them completed, and then I ran out with half of this one stuffed. Then we just have to stuff these ones. And then we can pack up the open order because I really want to take that home with me today and be able to print a shipping label at home. Okay friends, so I have now finished up my order, so that can go out tomorrow. And the next thing that I want to do is to insert all of the plushies I made into my market prep planner. So all of the chicks, we now have 5 of those left because we just packed up 1. So we will put 5 of those into the tracker and the 2 bigger octos. Okay, and since I'm about to head home and end my studio week for this week, I wanted to give you a little bit of a recap on everything that we prepped in the first week of the 4-week market prep challenge, where I'm trying to make as many plushies as I can for my next couple of events. So over the course of the week, we market prepped all of these plushies in the bin and it's looking pretty good actually, I think. Additionally, we made the chick that we packed up for the order and also this little lion that will hopefully be also for another order. So these 2 will not be counting towards the total, but overall I just input all of the numbers into my phone and we prepped 30 baby whales so far. As I said before, I'm hoping to finish a couple more tonight, but for now that is the total. We prepped 1 puppy, we prepped 11 bees, we prepped a turtle, we made 2 mini chicks with hats, we made 2 big octos and 5 chicks. So totaling all of that up, that means we market prepped a total of 386 euros worth of plushies this week, which is pretty good, but not what I am hoping to make every single week. So I will definitely, once I get home, work on a couple more baby whales because I feel very motivated today. So that will not be all that I prep this week, but it will be all that is included in this week's video. So thank you so much for watching this market prep week all the way until the end. And I will see you guys again next week for week 2 of this whole challenge because we have quite a lot to accomplish still. This market prep planner is still looking pretty empty. So we definitely know what to do next week. So until then, bye!